Hi guys, it's Crafty Tina's. Today's video we're going to talk about the We Are Makers Cinch Stack Cutter and how we can cut a hexagon shaped chipboard and paper so that we can make a hexagon shape notebook. So this is the first video. It's going to show you how to cut the chipboard and the paper, and then I'm going to do another video showing you how to cover the chipboard using cardstock, how to cover the chipboard, and how to bind the notebook using the cinch and the mini cinch. I have figured out a way that we can make this in both the cinch regular and the cinch mini. I also used die and stamps to make the embellishments, and I added a little spring to the bumblebee, honeybee, whatever he is, because he is just so adorable. This paper has little bees on it. So when I saw this paper, I knew my notebook had to be a hexagon. However, I had no idea how I was going to make sure that every single side was the same size. So after a lot of trial and error, I am now able to show you how to cut exactly a hexagon, which is 6 shapes. Yes, I did have to go and look that up. I'm sorry, this is not a hexagon. This has 8 sides, so this is an octagon. Imagine that. I was looking up what to call a 6-sided shape because I could not for the life of me remember what it was. And this is not a 6-sided, this is an 8-sided. There's 4 on each half. So I knew what an octagon was. Did not know what the 6-sided shape was, and I actually went and Googled it to find out the pretty little word, and now it's not going to do me any good. So let's go back to talking about this notebook. I wanted something that was not typical for our little bee friend here because I found this paper and it was absolutely adorable. It's a mini stack. It's a 6x6 pad of paper, and it's called just Bees, and it came from Hobby Lobby. I also had these stamp and die sets that I wanted to try out with the paper, so I knew this needed to be a special notebook. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to make these with your stack cutter. Now, we will get to this little clear triangle in a minute. I want to show you how I did it. There could be multiple ways. I'm not going to guarantee that this is the only way to do it. Nobody's ever done it this way before. This is just the way that I worked it out to where it would work for me. So let's get... The whole purpose of the Cinch Stack Cutter is so that you can cut your entire notebook at the same time, both the cover and the pages, so that everything matches. So when it comes to doing a notebook in a shape like this, that's very important. You need to know that all of your sides are going to be equal. So I have here 2 pieces of 30-point chipboard and 30 pieces of plain 20-pound paper. This is just regular copier paper, printer paper. I think they call it copier paper, even though it's basically for printers too. It's just the cheap stuff, guys, nothing fancy. We are going to cut it out all together so that everything fits perfectly in this video. This is what I'm going to show you. The next video, and I will link it in the description, is going to be showing you how to cover it and make the notebook itself. So let's get busy with this one. The very first thing you have to do is you have to cut this to 5 inches, because from here to here is 5 inches and from here to here is 5 inches. So you're basically starting with a 5-inch square, and then you're cutting off the 4 corners. So the first thing we need to do, and I'm not going to touch this camera because I don't want it falling again. So we're going to move our guide to 5 inches. You can do this with any cutter. You just have to do it in sections because a regular cutter, not a cinch stack cutter or any stack cutter, you cannot cut through this much in one shot. So if you saw my last video, I told you that I have this little hack where I have to put a piece of chipboard where the blade goes down so that it cuts through everything. So I'm going to be doing this, and you're probably not going to see me do this every time, but just know that I am putting a piece of scrap chipboard underneath everything every time. Again, I'm not moving this camera. It's going to stay right where it is. I want to cut this 5 inches by 5 inches. So we are going to put it in our cutter. I am going to make sure that my pages, my chipboard, everything, it's set to 5 inches. It's all the way to the top, all the way to the left. I'm going to put my little hack, which is my little extra piece of chipboard. I know the bottom of this is a piece of chipboard, but I want it to cut through that cleanly. So I'm using an extra piece of chipboard and making sure it's pushed all the way to the top. Then I'm going to close it by turning the little wheel that's right down here that you guys can't see. Sorry about that, but till I fix my camera mount, I better not touch it. So now that it's tight, I can't pull it out because I've adjusted the wheel to close. I'm going to pull the handle down and cut. And guys, that's it. It cuts super, super well. I'm going to set that out of the way. I'm going to open up my blade. I'm going to turn the wheel to open up. Remember, there's a plate inside that mashes down to close and lifts up to open. Once I open it, I can take it out. Now I have this perfect cut, chipboard, paper, chipboard. Not a single fray, not a nasty little piece hanging off the edge. It cuts great. So now that it's cut 5 inches this way, I also want to cut 5 inches this way. So I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to push it all the way to the top, all the way to the left, making sure my pages and my chipboard are all the way. Going to make sure my little chipboard hack is in underneath everything. Then I'm going to spin the wheel to close, and that wheel is right here, turning it counterclockwise to close. Now I can pull the handle down, and it took no effort. I'm going to raise the blade, turn the wheel to open, and now I have the perfect 5x5 notebook. You can stop here and bind this book and you would have a great notebook. Everything's cut to size. It's not very thick because I want to use small wire. It's only 30 pages big, but I also put a post-it note stack in here because this was the perfect size to put these little 3x3 post-it notes. You get them at Dollar Tree and you get 4 in a pack, and they're the perfect thickness to go in these little notebooks. I just love the little bee. So now I have a perfect 5x5. Now let's get to the fun stuff. We want to move our guide to the 6-inch mark. So we're going to undo it. We're going to move it to the 6. And we're going to clamp it down just by turning the little wheel. Now, I have this fancy little triangle that hubby made me because his hobby is laser. So he cut out this acrylic triangle, even put Crafty Tina's on it. You do not have to have this. I am considering opening an Etsy shop so that I can offer some of these cute little tools that he makes me. You need a 3.5 by 3.5 square piece of chipboard. Just a square 3.5 by 3.5, and then cut it diagonal so that you have a triangle. If you are a quilter and you have a quilting acrylic template that's 3.5, go grab that because it will work too. I just wanted something a little thicker than a piece of chipboard, but it's not necessary. It's just nice to have. So I'm going to put my little triangle in this corner. Now remember, this is set at 6, not 5, even though our notebook is 5. Once you put the triangle in the corner, you're going to take your full notebook, you're going to place it in your cutter, and you are going to line up your notebook to the edge of that corner, from one end to the other. If you cut a 3.5 inch square diagonally, you will get 5 inches across here. I'm going to make sure it's corner to corner. I'm going to close. My chipboard is underneath there. I'm going to smash down so that doesn't move, and then I'm going to cut. And what I cut is this little corner. Okay, so now our first corner has been cut. I'm going to open both the blade and the little rolly wheel that's just right here. I'm going to turn this to the next side. You can see where we cut. This is the next side. I'm going to put the corner to the bottom corner of the triangle. I'm going to close the clamp down. And I'm going to cut. Again, we have this cute little triangle. Now we're going to open. We're going to turn it again and do nothing, and turn it one more time. This time we are going to line up the left side with the 5 inch mark because our notebook is only 5 inches wide. We're going to put it to the triangle and the 5 inch line. We're going to close and we are going to cut. And it cuts out, yes, another little triangle. We're going to open the blade, open it up again. We're going to turn it once, 2 times, and again, line it up with the 5 inches and line it up with the triangle. If you look over here, you should have this little point sticking out. We're going to close it. And we're going to pull the handle down. And we have another triangle. 4 triangles, because we have basically taken a 5 by 5 and cut off 4 triangles, giving us an 8-sided shape, which is an octagon, not the hexagon that I looked up on Google. We're going to open this up, and now we have our book already waiting to go, waiting to be covered, decorated, and cinched. This is how I did an 8-sided notebook using the Cinch Stack Cutter. So this has more things in store for us than just a typical cut. Although I like being able to cut my notebooks all in one shot, there's going to be other things we can do with the Stack Cutter. So if you're interested in this or interested in binding, please make sure you subscribe so you will know when I make more YouTube videos. This is the first part of the video because I have to clear all of this off in order to show you how to finish this notebook. This would also be a great shape for multiple things. It doesn't have to be for the little bees and the beehives. We are also going to make some Christmas ones, so make sure that you look in the description and get the next video in this series. I just wanted to be able to show you guys how to cut and get all 8 sides the same size. You basically just need a triangle. It could be any triangle. The only thing is make sure it is the exact size. 3.5, 3.5, cut at a diagonal. You can use chipboard, styrofoam, cardboard. Just make sure it is cut properly so that you can put it in the corner and have something to line up your chipboard sandwich and make this wonderful little notebook. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you come back because it is going to be a 2-parter, and I'm going to put the link in the description so you can go to the next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, happy crafting.